crypto, Caesar Capital. Hope you're well. It's the 1st of October 2023. Let's take a look at the markets. Essentially, we've had a bit of a move up with Bitcoin, which is good. We've left September, which is always a pretty bad month in markets, but we have now moved into October and things are looking a little bit better. However, we are essentially stuck in a range, and the range is pretty much from 30k here down to about 24.8 or so, not taking into account wicks because this is a line chart. And essentially the support comes from the high in August 22 and the high in February 23, and we've held this support here now for 6 months, so that's a sign of strength in my view. However, we've got little to no spot volume really. The markets are at the moment, in my opinion, being manipulated by the paper markets, the future markets, which can manipulate the market short term for sure, but over time they can't. So it's just a matter of time really before Bitcoin decides to break out. But essentially it's got quite a hefty bit of overhead resistance. We can see here around about the 30k mark, which comes from, in fact, the area of support back in July 21 and January 21. So it's quite old. So this was once support, and this sort of cluster here as well was support, then resistance back in May 22. So this cluster and this area of what was support many years ago has now become heavy resistance here for Bitcoin. So until it can break above this area, ideally it needs to break above 32.98 first. Then for any convincing move, really, I'd want to see it sort of starting to close weekly closes or, you know, higher time frame closes over 32.2. Then I think we're just going to be stuck in this range. But that's not a bad thing, you know, because there's one thing they say: the longer the base, the higher in space. So the longer we can hold this area and hold it as support and carve it out as a solid area of support, then I think that that's really positive for Bitcoin. So really, until we can break this area here, my view is that we just remain in this range. So it's yet to be seen, but we were taking positions down here, so we're quite happy with this move. We will hold these positions. There's absolutely no reason in our view at the moment to sell them. So things are looking pretty good. Unfortunately, the spot Bitcoin ETFs have now been delayed until January, so that really is making me think that we could potentially just remain in this range until sort of December time. Then potentially, if we get a sniff of one of these spot Bitcoin ETFs being approved, then I think that there's going to be a big move to the upside. But we haven't got long now until the halving, which is in April 2024. So it's just a question of seeing what happens between now and then. But as I say, really for me, I want to see a break above this level before we can even consider attacking the 618, which is at about 40k, and the 786 fib, which is at about 50k. So it's yet to be seen. I don't think these areas of the 618 and the 786 are going to be broken until close to or after the halving, unless a spot Bitcoin ETF is approved, you know, in November, December time, January time. Then I think potentially we could have a good go at those two key areas on the Fibonacci. So let's look at Bitcoin again. Let's look at the Gaussian channel. This is interesting. For me, I really would like to see the Gaussian channel, the median line in the Gaussian channel held. It's held so far. So you can see here back in August, we tested it, and again just the other day in September we tested it, but we've held that area. I think sort of getting pulled underneath the median line of the Gaussian channel isn't going to look good, and I think that we could start testing the lower areas then of 21.7, then down to about 20k. But so far, so good. As I said a moment ago, in my view, I've got no reason to sell the positions that, or we've got no reason to sell the positions that we took around about this area of the 17 to 15k range. Interesting thing about the Gaussian channel is that once it breaks above the median line on the Gaussian channel, it generally has a fairly good run and holds it. I mean, for example, let's go back to 2015, which I think this market really is more like 2015, 2016 than it was in 2019. I was wrong, I accept. I thought that this market looked more like 2019 back in the early parts of the summer this year, but it certainly it's not looking like that, and it didn't play out like that. We got 31K. I thought we might get a little bit higher, but unfortunately we didn't. Essentially, if you look at the Gaussian channel, what happens back here in 2015 was once it broke the median line and got above the Gaussian channel, it kind of held, and it didn't break below that median line. It held, went sideways, and it was a nice grind up. Similar in 2019, broke above the median line of the Gaussian channel, above the Gaussian channel, then it went sideways, came back to test the median line. Then it was going back up to around the 10K range. But unfortunately, we had the black swan event of COVID, which brought it right down below the Gaussian channel. However, this was an unforeseen event. The market couldn't see this coming. And in my view, I think that if we didn't have that sort of black swan event of COVID, I think Bitcoin would have traded around about the 10 to 8K range. It would have held that median line of the Gaussian channel, may even stayed above it, traded sideways, then up. Which is what I think potentially could happen if we don't get, any good news on spot Bitcoin ETFs. I don't think, it's going to break up hard, but I think what it could do is hold this median line here, which is about 24.9 at the moment and rising. The top of the Gaussian channel is 28K. I think that potentially it's looking more likely that we will go kind of sideways up into the halving. So the bigger picture really is that we are, in my view, in the early stages of a bull market. It's pretty obvious how Bitcoin works. It works in 4-year cycles: 1 year bear market, 3-year bull market, 1 year bear market, 3-year bull market, 1 year bear market, 3-year bull market. We've done the 1 year bear market. We're now on a slow grind up in the bull market. This is the first part of the bull market. We still have the halving to come, and as I say, going sideways for a while or a little bit up and sideways is pretty good in my view for Bitcoin. I don't think that we're going to be coming back down to test those lower ranges of 15K. I think that that's now, in my view, quite confidently off the table. So quickly looking at altcoins, I like to look really at the others chart on TradingView. The others chart gives you more of an accurate reflection, in my view, of what's happening in the altcoin market. Essentially, total 2 and total 3 are okay, but the problem with total 2 and total 3 is that they give they take into account stable coins, and stable coins many years ago, or just a few years ago, were quite small in market cap, but now the biggest stable coins are very large in market cap, and they tend to cloud the data when looking at charts like this. So I like to look at others. Others is essentially the top 150 cryptocurrencies, I think, excluding the top 10. So you get a good indication, in my view, of what's happening with the altcoin market. And we can see here, and I've done a full video on this, you can go back and have a look at that. But basically and essentially, you can see here there's clear cycles that it remains in a bearish range until about the halving. We'll put the Bitcoin halving events up, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Hang on, can't spell. So you can see here the Bitcoin halving events, which are the vertical lines in yellow, and you can see that the altcoin market cap remains in a range until it gets close to the halving. Then it breaks out, remains in a range, halving, breaks out, remains in a range. I think it's going to break out towards closer to the halving. You know, it might be different this time, maybe, but my view is that I don't really think that we're going to break above this range until close to or on or just after the halving. So maybe we'll come up, bit of a rejection, go sideways, then break out. Simple as that, really. I think that's probably the best way of looking at it. Anyway, that's the update this week. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to join the VIP group, reach out to me on Twitter or send me an email via the website. We've just released our top 10 altcoin picks for 2023, 24, and 25. So you get a copy of that document when you join the group. It's 33 pages long and it's heavily researched. And we are quite confident that the altcoins we have identified in this paper will do extremely well this bull cycle. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, like and subscribe, and I shall see you again soon. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for listening.